Well, it was a very exciting weekend, to say the least, for DC fans due to the amazing global event that was DC FanDome. And it's very possible that you could have missed a few of the great reveals, teaser trailers, first looks, and other amazing news that came out during this 24-hour global event. But don't worry, we're going to recap the most important updates from that event, from all of the biggest panels, right here on the channel right now. Hey everybody, welcome back to Cosmic Culture. It's Chris, and if you love to stay up to date on all major movie and television news, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We're covering it here on the channel. And today, a DC FanDome recap to keep you up to speed with all of the crazy news. It's likely you've seen the Batman trailer, the Suicide Squad teaser, and the Black Adam introduction, which was all very, very cool and exciting. But there was a lot of news and information that came out during the 8-hour spans where the panels took place back to back, and the information literally never stopped coming. So we're going to try to walk you through the most important and highlights of the event. So let's start with Wonder Woman 1984. The biggest highlight from this panel was without a doubt the release of the second trailer for Wonder Woman 1984, where within we saw a full first look at transformed Cheetah into her full comic book state. That's what we'll call it, her comic book state. And although a lot of people were very worried after Cats, this is a much better job. The details on her fur and the way she looks, it all has a very familiar feel for the character, but at the same time it is a very good modern rendition and a great use of CGI. We also got to see a better look at all of the main characters, including Maxwell Lord, Cheetah of course, and Steve Trevor, who will be making another appearance back in this movie. Eventually, Linda Carter also made an appearance, which is really exciting for nostalgic Wonder Woman fans, and it's really nice to see that the cast and crew at the moment are still using her as an inspiration for future movies, and this movie that they made about Wonder Woman. And although it was an amazing panel and they answered a lot of really cool and fun fan questions, there was one issue that has to be realized. At 0 point throughout the trailer, posters that were released, or any bit of the panel when they were talking about releasing the movie in theaters, which was emphasized, we never heard an actual release date. So it appears that there is a plan for the movie to get pushed back yet again, unless in the very unlikely situation that they're planning on pulling it forward. But it seems that the movie will be getting pushed back one more time, hopefully, but the release of the trailer does show that they will be pretty confident about this release date. And it appears around the United States and other countries, movie theaters are opening up with social protocols in play, and it will give people the opportunity to go and watch movies in the theaters, which they seem very keen on doing for this Wonder Woman film. The next panel was Gotham Knights, where they released the long-anticipated and rumored Batman game, which people have been waiting for. It looked absolutely incredible and stunning. You can check out a little teaser trailer for it, a little introduction for it, which is going to be on YouTube. Just search Gotham Knights and you'll get to see the glorious game that most people are calling the perfect Batman game. The next panel after this was the Multiverse panel, where they talked specifically about the DC Multiverse, and they used the term DC Universe several times. Now, I myself, Chris, from the Cosmic Culture channel, have a theory, so it's not confirmed news, and it's not anything that they specifically discussed, but it is something they touched upon in a lot of the different panels, that the Multiverse panel was the most important panel of the event. They talked about how the DC Universe is in complete connection. And it was such a heavy point, and this is why it's important. Because the issue with the DC movies, the DC Universe, the DCEU, has been the incoherent connection and loss of characters throughout the DC Universe, the expansion, trying to compete with Marvel. That's where the Justice League went awry, and that's where we've lost a lot of fan excitement, is changing actors, changing characters. This one's in this world, this one's in this world, this is the DCEU, this is the dark DC Universe. Well, the Multiverse panel explained to us how they are all connected through the parallel universes. And then they referenced the Flash comic where it all took place. So this is something I would look forward to. It looks like, and they talked about it in the next panel, the Flash panel, all of this will be connecting at some point, and all of these universes that, although separate, will find themselves together under the same cinematic blend. And as I just said, the Flash panel was the next panel, and it was a quick little short one, and it didn't have a whole lot of reveals, although we did get to see some concept art, which appears to be featuring Michael Keaton's Batman in the background, and they said that Batman actually designed his suit, so that's pretty exciting. But I do want to get back to this multiverse talk for a second, because the Flash movie is where it appears all of this multiverse cohesion will be meeting. So we're going to have Ben Affleck's Batman, we're going to have Michael Keaton's Batman, and out of all of the characters, Flash is the one with the quantum abilities. And Zack Snyder touched on this as well, how it will be showing up in his rendition of Justice League. And then the Flash director also touched on how his abilities are going to be a key moment in the DC universe. So the Flash movie really seems to be where the DC multiverse will be combining and becoming kind of this one central focus point. The way I've kind of envisioned it in my own mind is sort of like an hourglass where everything is spread out at the bottom and it all comes up and meets into the middle, and then it kind of spreads back out again. That is the Flash movie, the middle point of the hourglass where everything comes and meets. And that's the best way that I can explain it, and that's kind of how they explained it. Now, they would continue to talk about the multiverse throughout all the separate panels, and it definitely appears to have a huge role moving forward in DC's plans. And now that they have that figured out, they're going to be more than happy to explain it to us throughout separate movies and in little Easter eggs here and there. But that's a separate video that we can talk about another day. We'll move on to the next panel. And that was the highly anticipated James Gunn Suicide Squad panel. And he gave us a roll call, which did give us a cemented look at a lot of the characters that the actors, the long list of actors that we were given, will be playing. And it also gave us a sneak peek behind the scenes kind of look where we got to see a lot of the characters in action from shots taken for the movie. We got to see Harley Quinn in her wonderful comic book accurate outfit, and a lot of other characters, including what seems to be a new fan favorite, Sean Gunn's Weasel, who is just terrifyingly, tragically sad and creepy looking. But it looked like a lot of people have gotten excited for this movie now after the little information we did get and what we did see about it, both in the sneak peek and in the roll call trailers. So a lot of excitement and a lot of hype. James Gunn himself has said this is his biggest, most exciting project ever, and a lot of people are really, really excited for what we will be getting in this soft reboot, second movie, multiverse, parallel universe movie. So that's going to be fun and exciting, and it's definitely a movie I think you should be excited to see in the near future. The Snyder Cut of the Justice League also had its own panel. Who would have thought we were living in a world where the Snyder Cut has its own panel? We were told it doesn't exist. We were told we were never going to get it, and here we are, ready for it, spring 2021 on HBO Max. There were a few reveals for what to expect for this rendition and director's cut of the Justice League, and it was revealed that it will be broken into 4 one-hour-long parts where we will get to see the entirety of the vision that Zack Snyder had for the Justice League. They also announced that it will be globally transmitted somehow. They're working on figuring it out, but if you don't have access to HBO Max, they are figuring out how to provide that for people, and they're also looking at how to smush it into one movie instead of 4 one-hour segments. So a lot of different news came out about how we would be receiving it, and then they gave us a very epic trailer, which was kind of bone-chilling and very exciting at the same time. So a lot of new scenes, some new looks at some characters, and a lot of excitement and momentum was built for the Justice League Snyder Cut edition during this panel. The next panel was Black Adam, and if The Rock is known for anything else on this planet Earth, it will be his showmanship as he steps into DC FanDome and starts to narrate the exactness of what we should be expecting for Black Adam and for his character. So the movie looks like it's going to be insane. It's going to span over 5,000 years ago to present day, and The Rock talked a little bit about what had happened with the land, the magic, and the characters, and how Black Adam was detained, but he is undetained and will never be detained again. He also talked a little bit about the Justice Society and the characters who we should be expecting to see, and we saw some really amazing concept art for the characters and for the movie. So, although we don't know exactly where Black Adam will fit in to the entirety of the DC universe, a lot of people are pretty sure he will be fitting in primarily with Shazam and the Shazamly, but The Rock did not hesitate to tease a possibility of a Black Adam vs. Superman movie in the future, which definitely had a lot of people, including myself, very excited. What an epic time from the comics, and it would be pretty incredible to actually see that on the big screen. Now, Aquaman 2 had a panel following, and in all honesty, out of all of the panels and the big reveals and everything that we saw and learned, this was probably the most disappointing. We didn't get a whole lot of information. We're going to be getting new worlds, and it's happening. Aquaman 2 is coming. But out of all of the movies, this one's probably the furthest one out in development, so not as much information for them to give us for this movie, but the big reveal was indeed that Patrick Wilson will be reprising his role as Ocean Master in the new movie, and we will be getting new worlds that will focus on the modern day issues. So that's pretty exciting and something to look forward for even further down the line. The next panel was the Shazam 2 panel, which, like Aquaman 2, was kind of equally disappointing, but we did get a first look at a teaser poster and the full title, Shazam 2 Fury of the Gods. So they had some fun with it. It didn't last very long. It wasn't a long panel. Zachary Levi was there and a lot of the other actors and characters from the movie, but we have a title, we have a cool poster. Shazam 2, The Fury of the Gods. Now, the panel all of you have probably without a doubt already heard about. The Batman, Matt Reeves, and Robert Pattinson both took to the stage, and it was an absolutely mesmerizing panel. And not just because of the terrific, game-changing trailer that they showed us, but because we got to sit there and watch Matt Reeves just talk about Batman for 20 minutes, which I could sit here and do for hours on end. This is a man who knows Batman, and the details we will be getting in this movie, just because of Matt Reeves' enthusiasm for the character, are going to be incredible. He was talking about the character, about Gotham, about the importance of where we are getting our motivation and our influence for the character, and it went on and on. So I actually highly encourage that you go and you find, if you can, anywhere on YouTube, this part of the panel where Matt Reeves just went off on a little tangent about Batman. It was very inspirational, and if you're a super fan for Batman like myself, it is something that will definitely pique your interest, and is very inspiring to see that this is the director for the new trilogy. And if that wasn't enough to get you excited, they did give us a trailer for the movie, and it was incredible. There were so many hints and teasers, and we've talked about it already at length on other videos, but what an incredible introduction to what this trilogy is going to be. And although it is confirmed that this trilogy isn't happening inside the DCEU, the term DCEU wasn't used at all that I can remember throughout any of these panels during the event. I think, like we've talked about, the multiverse is going to be phasing out the importance of the DCEU and how that was the conjoining characters inside the DCEU, and it's going to have everything on this parallel line connecting and unconnecting throughout these parallel universes. So yes, Robert Pattinson's Batman is in a different universe. It has been confirmed, and they're talking about doing a Gotham Cops show on HBO Max, which will be featured in the same universe, the same idea of Robert Pattinson's Batman. But the idea behind the multiverse is anything can connect anyway, somehow. I mean, we could have a movie with all the Batmans one day, and that would be incredible, and that's not necessarily anything they talked about, but the point of the multiverse is that everything is connected. So, although Robert Pattinson's Batman is outside the realm of everything that's going on right now, it does not mean it isn't within reach of it. So that is the update, the highlights, the biggest, most baddest, and awesome reveals from DC FanDome. There was a lot, and there was a lot we didn't even cover in this video. But it was definitely a good weekend to be a DC fan. And if you go anywhere on the internet, Twitter, there are a lot of good comments about DC in the future. How this is the turning point. How DC is going to be making a name for themselves. They're cleaning up their act. They're cleaning up their timeline. And it is all going to start becoming crystal clear. And fans have a reason to celebrate. I completely agree. For the first few weeks before DC FanDome began, I was talking about how DC FanDome is a turning point for DC. For the fans, for the characters, for the actors, for everything. So this was not an event that was just pulled out of thin air. It has been cultivated and it was planned, and it was because DC knows they are ready, they have a direction, and they are very excited to run after it. So let me know what you guys thought about DC FanDome. There's a lot going on. What was your most favorite part, your favorite reveal? What are you most excited for in the vast future of the DC universe? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to chat with all of you. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for those who watched until the very end of the video. If you found it useful, helpful, enjoyable, whatever it be, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, as we're covering all major movie and television news right here on Cosmic Culture.